Hi, this is Rizal from the Hefni Guitar channel. A quick shout out to my friends in Indonesia and the Philippines and to the new subscribers to this channel. Thank you for your support. We've completed about 8 lessons for the Jazz and Blues Chords Workshop. But one question that keeps popping up is why do we have to learn all of these chord voicings? Well, the quick answer is that you don't, and I think I need to make a video to address all of this. So why do we need to learn all of these chord voicings? The purpose of what I'm trying to do here is to teach complete mastery of chord tone soloing. But in order to do that, we need to first learn chords. There are many ways to solo using chord tones, but my main method involves what I call the Hefni pentatonic system of altered pentatonics. But in order to get there, we need to master certain levels first. And I'll talk more about this in a little bit. But right now, I think it is important for me to explain perhaps my framework of how I will be presenting my courses, so it presents a bigger picture for our learning journey. So first, we begin with the chords, because if we want to get good at chord tone soloing, we must first learn the chords because of the chord tones. Next, we will learn scales, followed by arpeggios, and then followed by pentatonics. Traditionally, guitarists who are good at chord tone soloing recommend learning arpeggios after chords, but the majority of guitar players start off with scales and then arpeggios. So think of my method sort of like a great equalizer for all guitarists who learn it the other way. By the end of it all, it won't matter, because hopefully by then we are all chord tone soloing experts. So each of these are levels, and we are currently in the level of chords, but within each level we will explore more in-depth than just the voicings, for instance, variations, combinations, tensions, etc. The first thing we shall do is split the fretboard into 5 different locations and learn what we can according to each location. Then we are going to focus on each voicing group according to the middle set of 4 strings, the top set of 4 strings, and lastly the bottom set, in that order, so that we really study the chord shapes and the chord tones. When we enter the level of scales, then we'll go through the framework for scales. So back to our framework, we will stick to a single key. In the Blues Chords Workshop, we'll be doing it in D blues. In the Jazz Chords Workshop, we'll focus on the key of C major. Okay, so sticking to the single key, we are going to break up the neck into 5 positions. So we start off with our Group A voicing, which is between the 5th and the 8th frets. Group B voicings will be following after that, between the 7th and the 10th. Group C voicings between 10th and the 14th fret. Group D voicings between the 12th and the 15th or 16th fret. And then Group E voicings will be on the 14th to the 17th frets. Okay, so now let me demonstrate the different levels or different tiers that make up our framework. Okay, again, let us begin with Group A voicings between the 5th and the 8th frets. For jazz, is the major 2-5-1 and then the minor 2-5-1 combined into a singular 8-bar chord progression. We call this the circle of fifths progression. Okay, so bar 1 is D minor 7, followed by G7, followed by C major 7. Okay, and then we go to F major 7, which is the 4 major 7. And then the minor 2-5-1, so B minor 7 flat 5, okay, E7 flat 9, and A minor 7. And we complete it with an A7. Okay. Now, the first thing people would ask, right, you're playing all the way down here until the 2nd fret, but we mentioned Group A voicing is just between the 5th and the 8th frets. Okay, and the idea here, okay, so the 5th and the 8th fret is where we are going to peg our scale later on, which is the A minor scale. Okay, so all of the chords for Group A voicings, we want to use them within this scale box. Okay, so The first chord fits perfectly within there. So does the second chord, G7. Okay, but when it comes to C major 7, we're using this voicing. Okay, the reality is that these three notes actually still fit within that voicing. Okay, it's just this C note is outside. Okay, but actually this C note is also this C note on the 6th string on the 8th fret. But we don't want to be holding out like that, it's very difficult. So we'll just use this chord structure. Okay, so 3 out of the 4 notes are still within group A voicings. Okay, F major 7 is within group A voicings. B minor 7 flat 5 also is within group A voicings. Okay, now when it comes to E7, this is the one where it is somewhat different. Okay, you have to change the underlying scale a little bit. Okay, now when we come to A minor 7, okay, so I'm using this voicing first. So in order to keep strict drop 2 voicings, but if you were to take a look at this notes, which are essentially, they actually also exist within the scale box. The only problem is that on the 4th string we have 2 notes, and as you know, chords, and on any string instruments that can play chords, we cannot play a chord that we cannot play 2 notes on the same string at the same time. So if you want to make a variation, we probably can only play like that or like that, right? So the main reason why we actually changed to this voicing on the 2nd fret is to keep strict drop 2 voicings, but at the same time, these 2 notes are still part of your scale box. Okay, so similarly, A7. That being said, you can actually use a different, I guess, chord voicings for A minor and A7. You can use here, A minor 7, or you can use this. Okay, however, I would see this more of a higher level learning of your horizontal, which is more of like variations, but we'll get there, okay? So in any case, group A voicing. Then you can repeat itself. Okay, as I've stated in an earlier video, don't worry so much about your shell voicings at this stage. The purpose of us learning chords in this way, even the perfect fifth, is in order to develop mastery for chord tone soloing. Okay, if you want to use the shell chords, right, you just pluck 3 out of the 4 notes. Although you still press down the 4 note structure, that's fine. But let's not get into that for now. All right. What about the upper structure? Upper structure on the top 4 group of strings goes like this. And you can repeat it again. So as you can see, the upper structure of group A voicing still fall within the scale box of A minor. Okay. What is the next part about group A voicings, which is the bottom group of voicings? So we get and that completes the bottom structure of group A voicings. So moving horizontally now, we are going to talk about group B voicings. Okay, I will just focus on the middle group of strings. Again, this video is not meant for you to master all of these voicings within one pass. Okay, this is more of a demonstration for you to really master all of these things. Is going to take weeks, right? And I haven't covered some of these lessons in individual separate videos. Okay, so let me just demonstrate group B voicings. Again, group B voicings also has its upper structure as well as its lower structure. Okay, so now you can learn them at your own time. I'll include the links here. The next group voicing is group C voicings, and it goes like this. Okay, we're focusing only on the middle group. Again, learn the upper structure as well as the lower structure, all within group C voicings. The next voicing group, group D voicings, goes like this. Within the 10th and the 15th frets. To get to group E voicings, it's a variation by combining chords from groups D as well as groups A. So let me just demonstrate, it makes more sense this way. Okay, so D minor 7, G7, C major 7, F major 7, B minor 7 flat 5. Okay, we can go E7 flat 9, A minor 7, A7. So again, Alright, so that would be group E voicing. Transposability. Each one of these chord voicing groups are transposable as an entire group. So let me take group E voicing and I drop it down 12 frets. Okay, so it's easier to play. Well, you might consider it harder because the chord, the frets are wider, so that means your stretches might be further. Okay, so again, group E voicings, 1 octave down. C major 7, F major 7, B minor 7 flat 5. Okay. Okay, if you don't want to use E7 flat 9 here, you can just slide it up 3 frets and then we go down to A minor 7 and A7. C major 7, F major 7, B minor 7 flat 5, okay. Okay, if you don't want to use E7 flat 9 here, you can just slide it up 3 frets, and then we go down to A minor 7 and A7. Okay, so that's the next step in your horizontal learning. Where else can we take this now? Okay, drawing from the idea of taking chords from other group voicings to come up with your own, this will allow you to actually go up and down the neck, right? Or even to come up with different combinations of your group voicings. So, okay, let's do this one. Okay, starting from group A voicing, D minor 7, G7, but instead of using this C major 7 here, we can use the C major 7 from group B voicing. And the F major 7 from group B voicing. Okay. Now we go back to group A voicing, B minor 7 flat 5, E7 flat 9. Okay, so here again, this is where we use this A minor 7 shape on the 5th fret, and then A7. So this actually by right fits better within your scale box at between the 5th and the 8th frets on the A minor scale. Okay, so let me do that again. Okay, so D minor 7, and all within the 5th and the 8th frets. So the next thing that you can possibly take with your learning, okay, this one, okay, we cascade downwards by combining 2 or maybe even 3 scale boxes in one direction this way. Okay, so okay, let's take group A voicing, D minor 7 flat, D minor 7, G7, C major 7, F major 7, B minor 7 flat 5 over here, E7 flat 9, A minor 7, A7. Okay, so I'll do it again without talking. Okay, the good thing about this way of playing, right, it orders your, what we call your guide tones. Okay, your guide tones are the 3rd and the 7th note, the 7th degrees of your chord, right? So, which is okay, so so they go like this. Okay, that's nothing but the 3rd and the 7th, so you get that sort of like cascading effect using this descending combination. So other possible combinations that you can do, you can ascend as well. Okay, so use this as the F major 7, F minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5. So as you saw, we started out from here, and then we ended up around the 10th fret. So from group A voicings, we ended up around the group B voicings. Okay, we can probably take it further. So again, we're ascending, we're creeping up the neck.